Okay, part 4. Anyway, so he's like, I was like, dude, you did not get a board game. Dude, we're going to a bar. And he's like, yeah, and you look great. And I look down and I see that I'm wearing my little fuck me outfit. And I was like, oh, thanks. I'm like thinking in my head going, it wasn't for you, but cool. I'm glad that it's, attracting, other people as well. And, so, basically, we go on a date. And Charles, being a noob drunk himself because he had just turned 21. Later on in years, I found out that I am exactly 250 days older than Chuck. So, but I still thought of him as a kid because I was like, "You're younger than me. You're a kid." Yeah. You know, I don't deal with younger kids. Older than that. I hang out with people older than me because they are more smart. I was a shithead. I was just, I always ran with the pack, and I was the baby of the pack, trying to be big and bad. It was just, God. I'm 31 now, so I'm like looking back on it going, God, I was so stupid. I'm such a wise ass. I keep telling my kids that they need to start playing with kids their own age, and my son just looks at me like, why? Because my son's like me in that way, where he's just like, I want to hang out with older kids. Why do you want me to hang out with babies? Come on, Mom. I'll hang out with my little sister, because she's not a baby, she's my sister, but anybody else, no, Mom, are you kidding me? He's 7.5. Sorry, 7.5. I have to be specific because he's very particular. But anyway, so we went on a date. Went over to the Ridge Cafe. And I was like, I have, excuse me, I need to go to the little girl's room. And I walk away. Bartender comes up and she's like, oh, weren't you just, he's like, yeah, my date's in the bathroom right now, it's cool. She was like, oh, okay. He was like, so what'll it be? He's like, I don't know, she mentioned something about strawberry schnapps, and she's like, oh, yeah, we have that. And he's like, yeah, he's like, you think you could put it on ice with 7-Up? And she's like, oh, how much schnapps? And he's like, oh, I don't know, half and half, I guess. And bartender's like, really? And he's like, yeah. Is that okay? And she was like, yeah, that's fine. And she holds up the different size glasses. She's like, is this okay? Is this okay? Is this okay? And him being a noob at drinking, he was like, oh, that one. And he picked the one that the cup was about that big. She's like, you want this to be half soda and half schnapps. Just to make sure I got this right. You want it to be half 7-Up, half schnapps. He's like, yeah, fill it up. Okay, whatever. Barmaid was like, you're really trying to get this poor little bitch drunk, and I'm going to keep my eye on you. Yeah. Because Charles has this very, appears to be confident in front of people. One of the things I admire about him. I used to have it too. I especially had it when I was dating him. And that's what drew him in, I find out years later. And I come back from the bathroom, I sit down, he's like, oh, I got your drink for you. You said you wanted to try strawberry schnapps with 7-Up? I'm like, yeah, that would be so badass. And he's like, well, I got the barmaid to pour it for you. Barmaid, as soon as she sees me, runs over and she stands right there while I take a sip. Take a sip and I'm like, ooh. And she's just like watching me all nervous. I guess she was thinking that that maybe Charles had slipped me something or whatever. And I'm like, wow, that is some strong shit, man. That just tastes like strawberry. And he's like, what? I'm like, strawberry flavored strawberry. That's just like, wow, this is good. And the barmaid's like, okay. She walks away. She's like, I'm going to leave them alone. Obviously, you know, they're young and goopy and whatever. So she still keeps watching Charles out of the corner of her eye. Just in case. You know, but then after a while, you know, I just drank that. I just had that one drink. Turns out it was probably about 4 or 5 shots. But I had no clue. I just thought, hey, it's strawberry schnapps and 7-Up. No worries. Now it's like, I would look at 4 shots and be like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I'm not drinking that. Because I've been experienced somewhat in the manners of shots and whatnot. I was a barmaid for a month, and that was real fun. But, you know, looking back, it's like I was just completely unaware, so no worries. You know, and I started to feel kind of buzzed. I'm like, whoa, this is nice. You know, and Charles was like, do you want another drink? I'm like, no, I'm good. And he's like, okay, no worries. You know, he keeps drinking, because he's like, I just live right around the corner, I can walk home. And I'm like, yeah, I just live right across the street, fuck it, right? You know, but I wasn't going to drink anymore. So I was like, you know, somebody's got to stay within their own minds, because, you know, one of us wants to get drunk tonight, and it's not going to be me. So I'll be the responsible one and get his ass home if he gets too drunk. Well, that's what happened. Because after that, then he drank some beer. I think he started drinking beer at first. He had like one, maybe 3 beers. Then there was a guy that was on the, you know, further down the bar towards the television. And he was like, hey, you guys on your first date or something? We're like, yeah. And he's like, oh, that's great, man. See, look, I just won some money. And I'm going to share it with you guys. Yeah. Like, okay. What? He's like, I want... And he started counting. He's like, 1, 2... He's like, everybody in here, round the house, shots of fire water. And I was like, fire water? Fucker, you gotta be kidding me. I'm not drinking that shit. And I looked at Charles, I was like, I'm not drinking no fire water. That sounds like that's a recipe for disaster. And Charles was like, oh, it's okay, I'll try it. He's like, I'll try it, and if it's good, then you can try it if you want. But if you don't, that's cool, whatever. More for me. And I was like, alright. So we go down there and we sit there and we're watching television and stuff like that. And, you know, I look at my shot. You know, it's a shot glass. I mean, come on. You know, it was standard shot. I take a sip of it. I drink about half of it. And I'm just like, oh, tastes just like liquid Red Hots. No joke. It's cinnamon schnapps, basically. It's literally called fire water or something else. I can't remember. You know, but it's really good, really hot, burns your, just, and I'm just like, you know, couldn't fucking breathe. This is when you can still smoke in bars, so I'm all like, oh my god, I don't think I need to smoke for a while. And Charles just laughs, and he's like, oh, I think it tastes great. And he's, you know, because he's already starting to get a couple shoots to the wind. He has, I don't know how many fucking shots. I just had that half shot. And I told the guy, I said, look, I said, this is a really cool gesture of yours, and I really, you know, I really appreciate it and everything. Don't get me wrong, but I'm a lightweight, and I just turned 21 last year. And I just, you know, this is a first date. I really don't want to spend my first date hanging my head in the toilet. He was like, oh, no worries, man. I'll just, you know, I'll buy rounds for everybody. He's like, hell, I'll buy you a round, and I'll either drink it or the barmaid will drink it, because he was getting the barmaid drunk. Or, you know, I guess barmaids have high tolerance for alcohol. I don't know. I just would refuse to drink on the clock. He's like, you know, somebody will drink it, but it's yours. I'm like, okay, whatever. So, you know, everybody's getting just wasted. The barmaid's just, she's still doing good. And, you know, I'm just watching everybody get stupid, and I'm just like, fuck. This is bad. Part 5 coming up.